Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, is the Vow of the Disciple Slayer, the Mayor of the Deepstone Crypt, the Vault Dwelling, the Jotun Toten, my favorite co-host on the Citadel, and the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Finney.
God, I have too many nicknames. We're going to have to retire Jotun Toten. I haven't used Jotun in like a year.
I know. I'm trying
We're going to have to retire it.
You know, I mean, we retired Demon Sour Cream, so.
You know what? That needed to go, though. You know, I think nicknames from like my very first show ever, my very first pod I ever did, should be retired at this point.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. It's a good week. It's a good week.
It's Tower Casuals night.
Good Tower Casuals night. Good personal stuff going on. Finished up my Fortnite pass last night. Got Doctor Strange and got Prowler. Very excited.
Ooh, look at you.
Tried to play a little bit of Warzone with the Godzilla and King Kong event going on. Died immediately, so I quit out and uninstalled it. I'm good.
Nice.
I'm enjoying it. We have a new season on... Corey, we have a new season on Tuesday.
We do have a new season.
5 days, and we still don't know what... This is wild, okay?
Didn't they say...
Trailer,
somebody
speculation...
Somebody said Tuesday, right? Somebody said tune in Tuesday or something.
Yeah, so what we have confirmed now is that we will get a seasonal trailer Tuesday morning, presumably when the servers go down.
Mm-hmm.
There is, like, kind of speculation building in the community, and Bungie hasn't shut it down yet. They probably will tomorrow if there's any, like, falsity to this. There's been rumors that there may be some sort of, like, live event for the first day or something. Because they're being so secretive about it. And it seems pretty clear that whatever 3.0 subclass we're going to get is probably tying into the seasonal storyline as well. Because they won't even confirm if we're getting Solar or Arc. We were all so convinced that this was going to happen today that Fallout Plays said that if we did not get 3.0 news today, he would delete a god roll. If we did not get that or the season 17 trailer today, he would delete a god roll out of his vault. And he's just like, God damn it, I cannot believe this is happening.
Oh, no. No.
But I mean, like, everyone is, like, grade A trolling right now about the season. Bungie's all in on it. It's great. The seasonal name may have leaked in the last 24 hours. We're not going to share it here since it's so close to it actually coming out. Like, I just want to go in completely blind at this point.
We don't do leaks here unless it's like huge.
It has to be huge, and there has to be like not just like verified, but like it has to be something beyond like, oh well, this is going to happen in like 3 days. Like Microsoft has to accidentally spoil it, like in the Xbox store or something.
Yeah.
The one exception we made was we did discuss the notepad and the pastebin leaks last year because there was enough in it that it was like, well, if this is complete bullshit, then okay, we just read fan fiction on the air. If not, hopefully nobody remembers this in 8 months. And lo and behold, I forgot every single thing that happened in there relating to... Because we skipped the plot spoilers, too. It should be noted. We skipped all the plot spoilers. We just talked about mechanical stuff. But real quick, like it's funny that this is how the name came out because this is exactly what happened with Season of the Splicer last year. Exactly what happened, and that's what sparked all the fake leaks and whatnot. I'm very curious to see how they go about just like dropping the element in because a few weeks ago, A1 Johnny and I were talking about this, and he's like, "Oh man, should be a great couple weeks. Like we're gonna get the seasonal reveal. We're gonna get the dungeon reveal. We're gonna hear about." Like Solar 3.0, and I'm like, man, how wild would it be if we just went in on day one and did not know what element it was going to be?
Yeah, I think we talked about that like 2 weeks ago on this show.
Yeah, here's Solar 3.0, go nuts, guys. And he's like, no, I have to experience this the way that it was meant to be experienced while I'm at work, sitting in the bathroom, fervently texting you. He's like, that's how we have to. She's like, that's how I have to process this information. How dare you expect me to do it in the confines of the game?
Yeah. And then, like I said, what if it's Arc? What if it's not Solar? What if it's Arc?
I would laugh so hard. The joke has become now, what if it's updates to Stasis and Void, and it's like they're not actually ready to give us Solar Arc.
Yeah.
And one of the assistant game director did have to come out in Paul Tassie's mentions just like 10 minutes before we started recording and say, no, we are 100% giving you guys an updated subclass. We're not telling you which one it is, though. So that just makes me think this has to be story driven.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably part of like this, I don't know, maybe there's like 2 or 3 missions that first day of the season and you have to go in and do something.
I'd love it if you had to do the opening mission, like when when you load into a season and they force you into a mission right away. I would love if you had to do that, and at the end, that's when you get the solar powers or something. Like, what if like this is where we finally get Rasputin back after like 2 years,
Right?
And like Rasputin like gives us an upgrade or some bullshit like that. I don't know. There's some cool things you can do. But we're like 4 days away from finding out, so I'm not going to be like, oh, let's sit here and speculate for 30 minutes. No, guys, come back next week to see what we actually thought about it.
Yeah.
But we do have a pretty packed TWAB. This is not the TWAB any of us expected, but it's one that I'm very glad that we got ultimately, because it's really rewards focused, and it kind of caps off the discussion we've had about Guardian games the last few weeks and like about events in general. It addresses a lot of the concerns we've had about rewards. We get some dungeon info, new Trials of Osiris, armors, a patch note preview, vault space. There's more vault space coming.
Yay,
Corey!
vault space.
100 slots.
So what? 600. So like 2 weeks after the season starts, everybody can complain again that there's not enough space.
That's pretty much what Dano was saying. He was like, He's like, let go of your material possessions, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, just let it happen, guys.
Just let it go.
But I don't know. Like, I'm not hurting for vault space that badly, but like, Johnny and I have a friend who is chronically full in his vault because he just takes things and throws them in there and doesn't look at them for like months or years. We just got his vault cleaned up, and he's about to fill it right back up. So, Phil, I love you, but come on, man. Dano's exact tweet says, people celebrating another 100 vault spots like they're not immediately going to fill it up with complete garbage and find themselves in the exact same position they're in now, but with 20% more stuff. Purge your stuff and free yourself of material possessions, but only in-game. I laughed. I thought it was funny, personally.
Yeah.
But Corey, if you're ready...
I'm ready. Let's
dive in.
There's
a lot of discussion to happen here today.
I'm feeling really good today, Josh, by the way.
I'm feeling good too. I think there's going to be some really great discussion here. Let's see here. Let's all right. So you open up the TWAB. We're going to address this wacky Trials armor in a little bit. We're going to go in order as always.
Yeah.
Of course, Bungie made a statement earlier this week about the tragedy in Buffalo last weekend, and because it was a minority community that was hit, like a specific Black community that was hit, and the shooter posted a whole racist diatribe. I don't like using the word manifesto. It's a diatribe on 4chan, and live streamed all what he was doing. Bungie did make a statement about it, and used it as an opportunity to talk about their inclusivity clubs again. And about their Black Lives Matter initiative. They started back when we started the show, actually, summer 2020. Just kind of reminding people that it's there, and that they are going to donate all the profits from the pin that they sell for their Black Lives Matter inclusivity pin to the Southern Poverty Law Center for at least a year. Love to see that. A lot of the stuff in the store goes towards the Bungie Foundation. I think these pins, if I remember correctly, specifically go to organizations designed to help those minorities or sexual orientations, organizations structure around helping them. So that's cool. Check that out if you want to. I definitely encourage reading their statement and what a lot of Bungie employees have had to say about that. But here we go. In Destiny stuff, I like how cheeky they get here in the TWAB right away. I believe it's Damage who wrote this one. I really enjoy it here because he's teasing about things. Many of you, and when I say many, I mean almost every single one of you, have been asking about the new stuff. What is Season of the Redacted all about? What is the next challenge our Guardians are about to face? What's going on with Redacted and their Redacted? Where's the trailer? Which subclass is getting 3.0? There will be a day when many of your questions are answered, but today is not that day. It's a scary, fun balancing act in the grand scheme of things, but player discovery is one of the most potent things in gaming. Do we spill the details in twabs and tweets, or do we hold things a bit closer to the vest with each season to let players dig in on day one and find some cool things in the game itself? If you want to go dark, this should be the last Bungie communication you read before Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you'd like to get a quick taste before launch, tune in a bit earlier Tuesday morning and keep an eye out for a countdown for our next trailer. So probably around like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning Central Time is when the trailer will post, if going by their past releases. Usually I think it's around like 7 a.m. Pacific is when they typically post them, so pretty excited to see that. They took this in a completely different direction than anyone thought, though. Like, they spend the entire time talking about Solstice, which is like 2 months away.
Yeah.
But I'm actually kind of glad they did, because as you guys know, the last couple weeks I've really had a bone to pick with Guardian games, and it's been a recurring theme for
I don't know. I didn't get that from you at all last week, Josh.
No, not at all. I certainly didn't decide I was going to put Guardian games down permanently and not pick it back up for the rest of the season. I liked these events, but they've all felt really samey for a while, and after how Festival of the Lost was changed last year, everything else kind of pales in comparison now. And I was really wondering what they were going to do with Solstice, because Solstice in particular feels really bad. Mm-hmm. Guardian games felt bad, but the strike scoring, I think, was a notable improvement.
Yeah.
It's just I'm so jaded from the last couple of years. And also, it's the end of a season. I'm ready for fresh content. I just went, you know what? I'm going back to Fortnite. I played, a week of this. I got some great rolls on title. Mm-hmm. Turned in all my Iron Banner tokens. Turned in 2,000 tokens, guys. 2,000 tokens.
All by yourself?
All by myself, Corey. No help. I pounded some muscle milk and some power bars during it, though.
Nice.
So let's dive right into events. Over the past year, the team's been working hard on giving many of these seasonal events a makeover. This effort began with Festival of the Lost, which featured twists like Monsters versus Dinos community poll and Glint's Ghost Stories. If you guys remember, we loved the Haunted Lost segment.
I love Glint's Ghost Stories. It was awesome.
I think it's great. Now, it got really boring after you did 150 of those things. But
yeah, but it was a nice change from the forest.
Yeah, it was definitely better than the Haunted Forest ever was.
I was going to sling some words there, but refrained.
Quicker.
Refrained. We're good.
Refrained. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. Goal is that every event provides joy and discovery for new and veteran players, and the enthusiastic reaction to Festival of the Lost reaffirmed our plans to keep evolving our events to keep them fresh and fun. Not every event will get a big update this year. We wanted to share a high-level look at our plans for the upcoming Solstice event. Solstice. Just Solstice. That's right. We dropped the of heroes from the name, and we're going with Solstice.
Do you think that you think there's a story reason for that, or you think they're just dropping it?
I think they're just dropping it. It made sense when that was the final thing of the year and it was tied to a Moments of Triumph.
Right.
I think it's a little silly to have it in the middle of the summer, though, and celebrate what you've done the past year. And, Moments of Triumph are going to come around in 4 months, by the way. It was just stupid. First off, what event do we think is not getting the makeover? Do we put down bets? Is it the Dawning or is it Guardian Games that's going to get the shaft? Because Festival of the Lost got updated last year, so I can't imagine they're going to do too much differently this year with it.
Yeah.
They technically can say they updated Guardian Games this year.
I mean, I think they're moving Guardian Games in a direction that people want to enjoy, at least. Not necessarily they do enjoy it.
I will say I've seen people at least engaging with it this time.
Yeah,
I
think
the last 2 times it's just been the butt of jokes, but the strike scoring, which is something that should be in every Vanguard strike, by the way.
Yeah.
It would get me to play 1,000 more Vanguard strikes if I was earning stuff passively during it.
Right.
With how long those strikes can be sometimes.
Right.
I don't know.
You know what I miss?
I like the wacky abilities too. It's made Nightfalls way more fun.
Yeah. You know what I miss? And I should have brought it up. I should have brought it up on the quality of life thing question last week.
Mm-hmm.
But remember in Destiny 1 when you went to dead orbit and you turn you had that passive kind of a passive progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I miss.
I miss factions in general.
Yeah, faction. God, faction
I
progression.
logged into Destiny 1 maybe like a month and a half ago. It was after Witch Queen, and I was like, man, about the only thing I think I still miss from this game, that like systems wise, that I wish they would bring over is the factions, because I was wearing my exotic class item. I had my allegiance to Dead Orbit, and like you can change your allegiance at any time, and you only change it like once per week or something. But you can earn all the different rewards they have there. You can earn the armors, you can earn all the weapons. You can only buy the weapons if you're pledged to that faction. And I miss all that. Like, I get that there's a story reason of why these factions do not exist in the city anymore, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, give us something new, like maybe Vanguard.
Yeah, give us something new. Yeah,
maybe do one for each of the things you can do. Like Shaxx, you can pledge your allegiance to Shaxx if you're a Crucible player, or do those. Why not?
Nobody is pledging to be a Dredgen. Not a single person.
Are you sure?
I mean,
would that get you to play Gambit?
There's some weirdos out there who will. But...
Would that get you to play Gambit?
No.
I
would have to get Drifter's armor in order to get me to log in and play Gambit at this point. It's dude, it's so bad. They have a projection of Drifter's face that was a rank up reward this season in Gambit, and I was like, oh, that's not too bad. You have to get like through 2/3 of a reset. I'm halfway, and I just cannot bring myself to go play any Gambit this week, even with it being double XP. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm done. I will log in and play like my final comp matches I need to finish out my seasonal challenges, and that's it. That's all I'm doing this week. But let's continue. Let's continue here real quick. So, opinion: is it Dawning or is it Guardian Games that's going to be given the finger this year in terms of refreshing? I think it has to be Guardian Games.
I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think people think the cookie thing is funny.
The cookie thing is funny, but we need something. We need a little more there.
Yeah.
I think you need a little bit more. And that's me personally. Like, the cookie thing has been fun, but we've been doing it for, like, no joke, 5 years now.
I think they need to do something different to start getting people engaged, because of the expansion coming out like pretty much 6 weeks afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, okay, we're gonna start getting these people engaged back in the game. Maybe there's a story reason. Maybe there's some story things happening. Maybe we freshen up the Dawning. Maybe we get some cool armor.
Solstice is going to fall like really weird if they keep the expansions in February, which we have no indication that they won't do.
Yeah.
February, March timeframe. It falls in the middle of that final season, though. And because of the final season, if we go, okay, each season is roughly 13 weeks long. The next season will start at the end of August, and then from August you will go into like mid-November, like week before Thanksgiving time frame.
Yeah.
That means you're going to have a couple weeks of a storyline. You're going to have to put it on hold for Dawning stuff if you put it on hold. Like, I don't think you should. Like, it should be able to... I think story and a seasonal event should be able to coexist, because then I think you get people to play these seasonal events more, right? But that and Halloween are just so close to each other. And I get, like, you want to celebrate both, and I think that they've done those both very well at various points in Destiny's history. The masks are always fun for Halloween.
Yeah.
I love those. The fact that light level is no longer enabled in Iron Banner means I'm running around in a Halloween mask this year, guys. I'm going to run around with the Uldren O-Face mask.
I'm running around with my
that's what you're going to see kill you in Rift next season.
I'm running around with my Cryptarch.
Uldren with Mountaintop and Recluse. That's what you're getting.
Oh, God. I'm concerned. Are you okay, Josh? I'm concerned.
No, I have bones to pick with a few people. So, sorry, everybody on Destiny. You're going to get the brunt of my anger.
Make sure you have your Cade cape on with your Uldren mask.
I will 100% have my Cade cloak on. I like what they say here, though. There'll be an awesome set of armor to pursue, only this time, instead of completing armor objectives and collecting keys and packages as consumables, you'll be completing event challenges. One of the biggest changes you'll notice is we changed the armor experience. Players will only upgrade one set of Solstice armor throughout the event. You can get multiple instances of a helmet, for example. Upgrading armor will allow you to reroll its stats, and the stat potential of the armor will be shared across these drops. Another new feature coming is in the EAZ called Bonfire Bash. let's reflect on how weird that sounds for a second. Where Guardians will be building and stoking what can only be described as paracausal bonfires, while the enemies of Summer Fun, including Taken, Cabal, Hive, and Fallen, will be attempting to crash the party and extinguish the fire. In your mission to guard the flames from wave after wave of incoming enemies, we've made it easier to traverse the EAZ, adding floating islands and removing building barriers for maximum maneuverability. And they'll share more details on that as we get closer. So I don't think we need to dive into that too much right now. Kind of want to wait and see what they actually say about that, because the armor sounds a little complicated on paper, just from that like brief paragraph. So kind of want to wait to go into details on that later on in the summer, probably around Bungie Days when we'll get those details. This event's supposed to start on the 19th of July, I believe. Here's the change I'm excited for. Event cards. This is kind of more in line with what I've been asking for a while from these events. Give us free shit. It's that simple. You want us to play your event, give out free shit. Stop putting everything in Eververse.
Yeah.
With the Solstice event, we've introduced a new feature called the event card. Much the same way that seasonal challenges introduced an easy to understand and find list of goals you can complete in a season, the event card does the same for annual events. When Solstice begins, you will gain access to the event card, which includes new points of interest to explore, including event challenges, unique event rewards, and event seals and titles. Very excited about that last one, and I think anybody who, like, this is like your main game and you want to do nothing but play Destiny, cool, there you go, you've got more stuff to do now. Every event card will be free to all players and can be accessed by interacting with Summer Grandma in the tower or the quests tab right next to seasonal challenges. Event cards and their associated challenges and rewards can be accessed for the entire event before disappearing once the corresponding event ends. And this image kind of reminds me of the quest book that we had in Destiny 1. Mm-hmm. It's very reminiscent of that, which unpopular opinion, I still think we should go back to that for like main quest, for exotic quests and things like that, so we can see all the steps clearly explained out.
Yeah, I like.
But
that
I like
a
the
lot.
seasonal. I like the seasonal challenges menu. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Just make it load a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Event challenges. They're objectives that players can complete to earn rewards. Certain event challenges will award you with familiar items such as event shaders, emblems, or other gear, and they'll also grant event tickets. Every event challenge will be available for players to complete right when the event starts, so you won't need to wait until the next week for additional challenges to become available. They can be completed in any order and any point while an event is active. Good. That's one of the biggest complaints about the seasonal challenges that I have, is that you are time gated on those. I get time gating the story progression, but I don't understand why certain other things are either time gated or don't count if you do them before the week they're active. I think it's especially with things like Gambit, where like we'd rather just get it all done at the beginning of a season, frankly. Rather than having to stock up until the very end. I mean, like, they introduced a new Gambit challenge in week 10. Like, I'm not going to go do that.
Yeah.
But if you had given me all season to work on that, I would have gotten it done. It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. That's all we're going to say. Event seals and titles. I think this may be my favorite update. I like free shit, but I really like being able to earn a title, and I would really like getting my seal pins, Corey.
Yeah.
I like spending an ungodly amount on these ridiculous things.
We know. We know. We know about your
know.
obsession with the pins, Josh.
I mean, Corey, I brought my gold Guardian Games Hunter medal with me this week. So
Nice.
I found it when I was going through a small box of stuff next to my desk, and wow, this is where all my seal pins are, because they all come in the clamshell boxes.
Yeah.
So they've just been like hanging out in that little box because I don't have a board that I like to put them on yet. So they're all just like hanging out in there. I'm like, oof.
They should give you. They should like sell one on the Bungie store, like a shield, like a Bungie
shield. I think they
shield.
do. I just think it's ugly.
Oh, okay. Well.
And there's definitely not enough room for all my seal pins on there. So in addition to challenges, we're going to introduce event seals and titles. There are two types. There are individual event seals and a new multi-event seal.
Ooh.
So, like both of those right away, starting with the Solstice this year, each Destiny event will come with a seal that players can complete as well as guild. Completing these event seals is as simple as completing all event challenges on its event card. Finishing every event challenge will automatically earn you seal progress and unlock the title for that seal. Gilding event seals will require completing additional triumphs that will only become available once the standard seal has been completed. Gilding lasts until the event begins again the following year. Cool, so you get to keep the gold all year long. Progress on individual event seals can be tracked directly in the event card by hovering over the card on the left-hand side of the screen or viewing from the triumphs page. The multi-event seal that event-loving players will be able to work toward. Starting with Solstice, players can complete a certain number of event challenges in each of the 4 yearly Destiny events to complete this seal. That means the earliest you can complete this seal will be in Guardian Games of next year, and doing so will earn a unique event title. You'll also be able to gild this new seal after completing the standard version, and we'll be sharing more details on how to do that in the coming year. Cool. I think that's great. For the people where, again, this is your main game, you can flex a little. I like that, and I'm interested to see what the title names are. I secretly hope that the Christmas one is like Baker. I don't know what you do. Like, I don't know what you do for some of these, but I think there's some pretty funny ones you could do. For some of these, like the Guardian Games one, it feels like something like Olympian would probably be it.
Yeah.
Solstice, I have no idea. Barn burner or something, if you're doing bonfires, I don't know. And Halloween, good luck. Just let Glint come up with that one. And then I don't know what you do for the multi-season one. I'm very curious to see all this as this season progresses and these are put into the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Here's the main like crux of what I want to talk about in the Schwab this week, though. Because I got a bone to pick regarding Eververse.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Well, I thought we were done. I genuinely thought we were on a good track with Eververse. I got a bone to pick with the pricing on Eververse. So, upgraded event card rewards. A new event means new event-themed cosmetics to customize your experience. Those items have traditionally been part of the Eververse store. With the upcoming Solstice event, we will curate a collection of these items as unique rewards through the event card itself. These rewards will only be available through the event card during their initial release, but like most of our cosmetics, there's always a chance they'll become available again at a future date. While the event card and event challenge rewards are free for all players, these extra cosmetic rewards will require players to purchase the upgraded event card. Upgrading your event card will cost 1,000 silver and immediately grants you an exotic reward bundle. You acquire more rewards by spending the event tickets you complete from challenges. The overall value of the upgraded card will vary somewhat, but is expected to regularly exceed 3,000 silver in value. So the rewards they're going to give you if you buy the upgraded card for 1,000 silver during Solstice: a hot dog eating champ emote, a Sunny exotic ghost shell, the Iris Gossamer legendary shader, the skateboarding emote, and then we have 4 rewards we don't know about, which is a legendary ghost hologram, an exotic ship, and a legendary transmat effect. I would need to see what the rewards are first to determine if I'm going to spend this. Like, on the surface, I don't think 1,000 silver is, like, egregious. That's about what an exotic emote costs. I mean, I do think those are overpriced, but if you look at it that way, it's like, oh, I'm buying this for that emote and I'm getting everything else for free. I can kind of swallow that a little. But I look at this knowing I will never use the ghost holograms. I will never use the transmat effect. I probably won't use the ghost shell, so I'm buying this for 2 emotes, a shader, and like, there's an 85% chance I'll never use the ship either. It's kind of a hard pill for me. Like, that motherfucker better be eating hot dogs like the best way a hologram can eat hot dogs. That's all I'm going to say. Like, those better be the best digital hot dogs this side of the Traveler. I'm not overly thrilled about the cost of this.
They better have some spicy ballpark mustard on there.
Spicy ballpark mustard. Somebody fetch the gray poupon.
Excuse me, sir. Would you like some gray poupon?
Excuse me, sir. Can you please pass the gray poupon? If you aren't sure whether you will complete the event, wait until the last week to make the purchase and see how many event tickets you've accumulated. I will not buy this right away. I'll tell you that right now. It does not matter if I like the emote or not. I will not buy this right away. I want to see if I actually enjoy Solstice this year before I go and spend the money. Solstice has been the event that is just like kind of like ground into me the last couple of years because I'm so tired of the EAZ and that whole shtick. I need to see what other changes they've made, and I need to see how I feel about the armor upgrading system, because I traditionally don't like the Solstice armor either.
Yeah.
It's too bougie for me. I'm not out here trying to rep Armani or like Louis Vuitton.
Are you sure?
Dude, my cloaks are all ripped apart. I'm absolutely certain. I'm wearing a fucking Plague Doctor mask every time I put on my Celestial Nighthawk. I don't think my hunter cares about it. He's more machine now than man. You look at him, he's got little moving pincers on his chest, like RGB glowing shoulders. Like, yeah, dude, I can guarantee you I don't care about Solstice armor or glows or anything like that. I want to see how the event tickets drop, though. I think that's my biggest thing, because you look at this and it feels almost a guarantee that the exotic ship and the skateboarding emote are both going to cost the absolute most tickets. And I don't care if I miss out on holograms or a transmat effect. Like, again, they're going to have to be really good for me to want to pay for them.
Yeah.
But I guess I just, like, I would, if I like the initial exotic emote and the shader, I will probably end up getting this anyways.
Yeah.
But I want to see what each of the rewards looks like before I commit. I don't want to buy these blind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I see this as you're spending $1,000 for a bundle of, you know, things. And I know people, like, I mean, I'm kind of doing it myself. Like, we're like, oh, nobody gives a shit about these holograms or these transmat effects. I think I tried to say Destiny. I think Bungie understands most people don't buy these things.
Yeah.
Even for Bright Dust. So, well, okay, we're going to go ahead and make them, but what if we just, like, shove them in here as, like, some additional value? The real, like, value of this is it's probably closer to, like, 2,000 silver realistically. Like, if you consider an exotic emote is about 1,000, like, it probably still goes over. I don't know. I would have to look at the exact silver amounts for, like, holograms and transmat effects, but, like, maybe you could write off, like, 500 of this or something. And shaders the shader is the one thing that kind of pisses me off here. And I think that's where most of us are going to cave, is if it's a really cool shader.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm Bungie, there's no way I wouldn't make it an awesome shader, because people care about their fashion game. Do you care enough to spend $10 for a shader, though, is the real question. And my answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
I really hate that I just said that, but I think that we're going to talk about this we're going to circle back to Eververse when we get to the dungeon. But this kind of just underscores how I feel like players are being slightly nickeled and dimed right now.
Yeah.
After today, I'm honestly shocked there is not more outcry over this and over the dungeon pricing right now. I'm frankly blown away at how this community overreacts to everything. This is something that I think is actually, like, genuinely important for us to discuss as a community, and everyone's just kind of like, okay, fine. Like, probably accepting, well, it's a hot dog emote, I'm probably going to buy it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the worst part about this, is we were probably all going to line up to buy this emote, so, we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff we don't care along with it. Cool. Okay. I'm spending $10 for a hot dog emote, a skateboard emote, and a shader. I'm talking myself into it, and I don't like it. But I think it's players who don't buy the season passes up front that are really getting screwed here. Yeah. Because then you're asking somebody who's just circled back. Maybe they just bought standard Witch Queen. And, yeah, screw it. We're going to talk dungeon right now. We're going to skip patch notes. We're going to go straight to dungeon.
Dungeon!
We're just going to keep going into this. So we're going to skip the rewards. We're going to talk about the pricing here. Okay? And we covered this last August. Last August, I really went in on this because I was pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And this is reawakened me being pissed off about it 9 months later still, because I had forgotten about this. But I went back through our episodes. We definitely covered this in late August, early September.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to get this dungeon, as well as the one coming in Season 19, is to have the Digital Deluxe Edition of the Witch Queen. If you have that, you're good to go. If you want to experience an entire year of Destiny 2 content and haven't purchased the Deluxe Edition, starting Tuesday, it's going to be on sale for 25% off. Great. Awesome. It's been out for a whole season. It should be on sale by now. It 100% should be.
Yeah.
And you have a season that you will not get because there's not retroactive season passes in this game.
Right.
Fine. Here's the problem I want to circle, okay? Because you may have already noticed, so you have to own the Digital Deluxe version. You can't just buy the season and get access to the dungeon.
Yeah.
If you just want the dungeons, Totally fine. You can pick them up both as part of the Dungeon Key in the Eververse store for 2,000 silver. 2,000 silver. Okay? So we just talked about how, well, 2 emotes and a shader for $10 doesn't sound bad when we think about the Eververse pricing. Are you really prepared to tell me that you think a dungeon, which I've said repeatedly, that I think the dungeons and the raids are the best content that Destiny has to offer. If you're not doing those, you are not getting your money's worth in this game.
Right.
You are absolutely not getting your money's worth. You are really going to tell me that a dungeon is worth the same amount of money as 2 emotes and a shader?
Is it just the one dungeon, or is it both dungeons?
No, it's both. It's both for 2,000 silver, but that would mean that they value each one as a $10 add-on.
Yeah. Right.
That blows my mind. So you are now asking people who did not cough up $80 to $100. I spent $100 because I got it with the 30th anniversary bonus.
Yeah, so
typically
did I.
About $80.
So did I.
You are asking people to spend $80. And I see where they're going with this. They are trying to get you to pay up front for this. They are letting you know now, we want you to pay up front for this. Like, if you get burned once, you're probably not going to get burned again. Oh, I got to buy it all at once. They want that money up front. And it really is a better value. I hate to sound like a shill. You are actually saving money in the long run.
I mean, you are. You're getting a season for free, and now it looks like you're getting a dungeon for free, right? Because it's $80.
Yeah, so that $80 that you spend when you pre-buy an expansion now gets you the expansion, which is $40. Mm-hmm. It gets you all 4 seasons, which are $10 a piece normally. Mm-hmm. So basically, the dungeons are being just thrown in, is how I'm seeing this.
Yeah.
But I think we need to see it from the lens of people who have just gotten back into this game, or who, like, I have a friend who buys the seasons a la carte.
Yeah.
And I hope to God, I have not talked to him yet, and I'm really afraid to log into the game and play with him later this week, because if he has to buy an individual dungeon key because he loves the end game, I will never hear the end of it. He will complain about this from now until he will probably still be complaining about it when we're on the milkshake cloud in heaven. Okay? He will still be complaining about it. He will tell St. Peter at the pearly gates about how much he hated that. Okay? He will demand to know where Luke Smith is staying up here. That's how bad this is going to be. Like, this will follow us to the afterlife. And I love him dearly, but I definitely have to side with him on this. This is a guy who, from his perspective, he's buying the expansion for $40. He's buying each individual season, so that's $80.
Yeah.
And now you want him to spend another $20. And then on top of that, you want to get all the cool rewards from these events. There's going to be a $10 event card for each event now.
Yeah. That
very quickly adds up. If you want the full Destiny experience and you are buying it all a la carte, you'll be spending $140 a year.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
That is absolutely without it's absolutely without anything else. Like, that's not including anything else you buy from Eververse, any other silver purchases. This to me looks really, 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 really bad long term for people who are not super into the ecosystem like us, who are not super plugged in.
I mean, I get what they want. Like, I get that they want you to pay for it up front, right? Like, I get that, but like,
they're trying to force you towards that.
I know, but some people can't spend $100.
No, that's what I'm circling back to. I really hate that. Like, I understand that, you've hired all these extra people. You have a dedicated team that is just building dungeons and raids now, or they're building raids, but you have a team that just does dungeons now. Totally understand. We invested so much into the back end of the PvP endgame experience. Totally get that. That is admirable. I love it. My issue becomes, why sell this extra pass? I'd rather you just elevate the price of the base expansion by like $10 and say, hey, we're elevating this by $10. We saw the reception to the dungeon key. We realized how confusing it is. We're going to up the expansion price to $50, and the dungeons will be included no matter what version of Lightfall that you buy. Mm-hmm. Next year. I think that's honestly the right way to go about it, because this did not go over well when it first came out.
No,
it is not going to go over well once more people start realizing this is in the TWAB now, because really the reaction is going to be when this goes live next Friday. When this goes live on the 27th, people are going to freak out. Mm-hmm. Justifiably so. They're going to freak out.
Yeah, because I mean, how many people maybe don't read the TWAB and they just hear that a new dungeon is coming out, and like they'll buy the season or whatever.
Or they don't even know there's a new dungeon. They're going to log in, see a pop-up, new dungeon is active, and then you go to click on it and you'll be told you have to purchase this content. Yeah. And you have to pay $20. You can't even split it into 2 dungeons. You have to pay $20. People are going to say, no, I'm not doing this. And I don't blame them at all here.
Yeah. No, I
But
get
my
it. I
pro
get
and
it. This sucks.
I totally get it. And I mean, like, I know that there's going to be defenses of it. You look at the dungeon, you look at the loot list, and we'll look at the loot list real quick here. One armor set per class, one legendary armor. Artifice versions will be acquired via master difficulty. 4 new legendary weapons, 2 reprised legendary weapons, an exotic weapon, exotic catalyst, 1 exotic accessory, either a ship or a sparrow, and 2 legendary emblems. That is a pretty damn decent loot pool for a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
That is 7 weapons, really, if you include the exotic. That is a full set of armor. You can get artifice armor. That's a better loot pool than what Grasp of Avarice had. Straight off the bat. That is double the loot.
Oh, yeah.
Double the loot. Maybe I'll actually run this one more than like 4 or 5 times because I'll actually like the weapons this time around.
Yeah.
AS Luna was like the only thing super worth getting.
Wait, you didn't like the sword?
The sword is dope. I just didn't really have a need for it. It did roll with chain reaction, which was really cool. I did like that. Chain reaction on the sword is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I digress. Like, I get that when you look at that, and from a game making perspective, this to me, this is absolutely worth $10. I will say right now, a dungeon with this kind of loot is most likely worth $10. I will defend the $10 price point. What I will not defend is asking us to pay an additional $20 if you did not buy the bundle up front.
Right. I mean, at this point,
and then introducing fucking event passes on the same TWAB, that is an extra $60 you're asking players to spend.
It's almost going to be cheaper for you to buy the 25% off thing.
Yeah.
To buy a season and the dungeon. Because if you
so at 25% off, let's do the math here. 25% off, you're looking at $60 you'll be spending, right, which is 3 seasons of content. If you're buying a la carte, right, that's 3 seasons of content, 2 dungeons. That comes out to $50 right there.
Yeah,
it is almost cheaper for you to do it. It's not cheaper ultimately, but it's almost cheaper for you to do it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll get the previous season storyline and event theoretically too, right? Because they're staying all year. You just won't get the pass.
Right. You won't get the season pass, which to me, that's a big part of that $10 you're spending.
No, I get it. I'm just saying,
Which, like, and I mean, like, listen, I've defended the seasonal pricing for a long time. I still think $10 is really I think what you get for $10 is pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. Yes, we could get a little bit more cosmetics in the battle pass, but I'm ultimately not that upset about it because it's not a game like Fortnite where all there is to give you is cosmetics and quest lines for more cosmetics.
Right.
It is a game that has a storyline. It helps fund PvP maps. It helps fund dungeons, things like that. Dungeons and raids not being included as part of that does feel bad, although I understand it.
Raids aren't included either? I thought the raids were included and the dungeons weren't.
They are. I'm talking just like the base price of a season.
Okay.
So like if you didn't buy the Witch Queen, you could still play seasons. Mm-hmm. I think that just looks really bad on the surface. I don't think this will get reversed, obviously, this year. And the whole reason it won't get reversed is this was explicitly talked about last August. This is a business-facing decision. You may be saying, well, you're getting bought by Sony. Why on earth do you need to do this? Legalities. Legally, you've already announced this. Your shareholders are already expecting this. You cannot change course on this when this is expected to bring in revenue for you immediately. Like, you cannot change that based on terms of your deal with Sony. Now, next year, I don't think it's going to be a thing. I don't think this is going to go over well. And I think you have the backing of Sony at that point. You can probably sit there and go, well, you're providing all this great content. Here, we're going to fund you a little bit more so you can kind of ease off on that. And like maybe like the event card thing, I don't think I'd be as upset about it if it was like 500 silver. I think if it was 500 silver, a lot of us would line up to do it.
Yeah.
1,000 isn't even that bad for me until I start out. I drop $80 on the expansion and season passes up front, which I'm fine with. I play this game so much that I feel I get more than my $80 worth. I feel like I more than get that throughout the year. I put in hundreds, if not like 1,000 hours into this game probably every calendar year.
Yeah.
1,000's probably a little much. I probably put at least 400 to 500 hours into this game a year. And that's like minimum that's what I'm putting in. Okay. Because I'm doing raids, I'm doing dungeons, I'm doing a ton of PvP, I'm doing all the seasonal storylines. I like the title chase. Like, I get in and just hang out with my friends. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten in, like, John and I just need to talk about stuff, or I've needed to talk about stuff with my buddy Matt, and we've just, like, pulled out emotes in the tower and just literally sat down in the tower and just like shot the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a social game. Like, this is a social game from this, so I play with my friends. And when I think about it that way, okay, I'm not spending a ton of money. The cosmetics don't actually bother me. But that's me. Because I know I'm not going to buy every single one of these upgraded passes. I know right now, like, a Guardian Games one holds no interest for me. There is almost nothing you could put in there that would interest me.
Yeah.
Probably same with a Christmas one. But Halloween and Solstice, that's going to be a little dangerous. You're making a hot dog champ emote. Like, if it's not sponsored by Nathan's Hot Dogs, I don't know if it's worth being in there. Just, it's asking us to continually spend more money and less things being available for Bright Dust that is really bothering me.
Yeah.
I don't like that trend. And then couple that with the dungeon news, and I really hate it. There were a couple tweets from Fran Mirabella over at DCP. He put out a few tweets today, and I agree with what he has to say. So let me read both his tweets, and then we're gonna have a discussion about a seasonal pricing model. The new dungeon pricing in Destiny 2 is $20 or 2,000 silver a la carte. There are 2 planned each year. If you bought the Witch Queen Deluxe Edition, this includes 4 seasons, 2 dungeons, pretty close to a $40 annual subscription model. Will we see $5 a month features someday? Seemingly, the focus is getting the funds ahead of time and trying to push more people into seasonal content via the commitment. As for a true subscription feature, if ever, they'd have to solve for how you own content versus just accessing it monthly, quarterly, or annually. I think that a $5 upgrade or a $5 a month sub fee is not far off at all. I think he hits the nail on the head here.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, $40 in seasons alone, okay? That, like, we just broke it down. $40 and then $20 for the dungeons, okay? So that's $60. Mm-hmm. That averages out to $5 a month right there.
Right.
I could see them just saying, well, hey, we're going to offer this, but knowing Bungie, and this is not a knock on Bungie, this is also, I feel like this would be a Sony or a Microsoft decision. Whoever would own Bungie, this would be a decision they would make. Say, well, we can extract more money from those annual users. 1 million people pre-ordered the Witch Queen at least.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny's seeing its best numbers it's seen probably since the Taken King right now.
Yeah.
And you think if even half of those people did $5 a month, mm-hmm. that is an absurd amount of money.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of money. For a full year, I'm going to do quick math here because I want you to understand how absurd this would be.
Hold on,
500,000 users, if half of us who pre-ordered the Witch Queen did a $5 a month seasonal model or $5 a month pay model, which I don't think is absurd. I would probably line up to do it right away, honestly.
It's $30 million.
$30 million. You think they're going to leave $30 million on the table? Hell no. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't.
Yeah, and we're just counting pre-order numbers. We're just counting half the pre-orders. We're not counting what? Yeah,
we're not counting
20 million
even
people
more people decide to. That's a very rough estimation of what I feel that people would actually pay.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, then I think you have to start offering more content. I don't think they're prepared to do that. You'd have to unvault some stuff, like maybe say hey, here's going to be our featured content for the year in game, but you have access to vaulted content through the subscription pass.
Gosh, that would set off a whole nother.
That would set off a whole nother thing, but that's the only way I can see you justifying asking for a monthly subscription. That and increase vault space to 1,000 for people who have the sub.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can justify that.
I mean, doesn't WoW and Final Fantasy XIV do that? They give you more storage space if you pay a premium subscription? So I believe so, and they also have there's a lot of content WoW, you have to buy a premium subscription to play, I believe. No, I know
Final
that,
Fantasy
but
14, they're free to start.
Right, but I mean, isn't there there's an extra subscription that you have to pay for more storage space or something? I don't want to misspeak on it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's possible. I don't actually remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've never played WoW or Final Fantasy XIV, so I can't tell you. But I thought that at least, I don't know. I thought I heard that somewhere at some point, but maybe I'm wrong. If you play WoW or Final Fantasy, please write in. Let us know.
Yeah, please, because yeah.
I just want to know if there's a precedent set for something like that.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. That might be some good research for us to do during the week to talk about next week briefly.
Yeah.
But any other concerns about Eververse, about this? I think we kind of covered this pretty clearly. Write in and let us know what you think about Eververse.
Yeah, I wish there was more stuff to buy with Bright Dust. Like I just feel like the rotation is not
be adjusted also drastically.
Yeah.
Both in terms of silver and Bright Dust, like they need to be probably like 30% lower than what they are across the board easily.
Yeah.
An exotic ship should not cost me almost as much Bright Dust as an exotic emote. Nor should said emotes cost me. Well, like those emotes, fine. I'm cool with those costing like 3,000 Bright Dust. A ship should not cost me 2,800 though.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Or like almost $10 in real money. That's silly. Now, you go look at things like ESO and Final Fantasy 14, you're like, oh wow, like mounts can easily cost you 40, 50 bucks in those games. So then I'm like less offended, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Corey?
Yeah.
Let's roll into patch note preview.
Let's do it. Patch note preview.
There's really not a whole lot in here.
I don't know.
You guys can check out some of the stuff about the UI, UX. Dare's of Eternity, increased strange coins earned from the reward chest from 1 to 3. That's been an often requested feature from the community, because if you didn't grind that stuff out right away, and that title is obtainable, the seal is obtainable all year long. If you didn't do it right away, though, you kind of got screwed with the strange coins, which you need to purchase things from Star Horse. So I'm glad they're addressing that. Power bands have been increased for the new seasons. The soft cap will be 1510, up from 1500. The powerful cap will be 1560, up from 1550, and the hard cap will be 1570. So just 10. It's 10 across the board.
That's pretty normal, though.
Yeah,
for
cool. So
season.
We're all going to log in, and if you played at all this season, you should be ready to start climbing towards that hard cap right away.
Yeah.
Vault space, this is the big one that we alluded to, has been increased by 100. Was 500, is now 600. We know this doesn't enable players to save every single...
Somebody just get murdered in your house, in your apartment?
I don't actually know what's going on outside, and I'm really worried to, open my door and look.
I'd heard that.
There are kids, these kids scream all the time in that hallway. They're still doing it.
I can't hear them now, but I heard that first one. I thought somebody got stabbed or something.
Jesus Christ. No, dude, they usually do it around 3 or 4 o'clock, right after school gets out. There were kids that ran up and down the hallway screaming a week or two ago and were banging on every door as they ran down, and you could hear them screaming oh my God, I just heard another screech. I don't know what's actually happening out there. And there were so many complaints that our apartment complex had to address it.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty funny. So let's try and get through this before they scream again. We know this doesn't enable players to save every single piece of loot in the game. The team was able to pull some strings and get a little more space for your vaults as they continue to investigate future solutions. I would not expect any other update to happen until Lightfall at the absolute earliest. So 600 spaces, you're going to have to make it work, guys. Azur's inventory will no longer be different if players manage to find him at destinations shortly after the weekly reset happens on Tuesday. Basically, you can't hold Zur hostage anymore, which I was guilty of doing also, once we realized, really good rolls were, popping up.
Yeah.
His will is not his own. He needs a break each week. No more overtime. The note about Scorn is really funny here. Increased Scorn crossbow damage by 300%, ensuring players will always be one-shot by attacks no matter their power level or how many damage-resistant modifiers they have equipped. And then in bold caps, it has to say, don't worry, that's a joke. In reality, Scorn sniper damage has been brought in line with other combat sniper weapons, because they were one-shotting people.
Yeah.
It made some of these... Nightfall's a particularly difficult thing. Hollowed Lair last season in particular was a nightmare.
Yeah.
On Grandmaster difficulty, if you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, didn't have a rift or a overshield in front of you, it was really bad.
Yeah.
That was not fun at all for anybody. But God, this has been a long job. We've got one more thing to talk about, though, Corey.
This is a secretly beefy schwab.
Secretly beefy Schwab. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of snuck up on you. I was like, ah!
Trials. Um, they're doing a freelance weekend this weekend, zone control, blah blah blah, and then Trials is going on hiatus for a few weeks until June 10th. So your first 3 weekends of the new season will go Dungeon, Iron Banner, Trials. Great way. I think that's great. That's a great start to a season. When Trials comes back around, there will be some new loot to earn. We've already announced the fusion rifle and sidearm. We also have some new armor. And we're leaning deeper into the Trials themes you've seen over the years. We're excited to see how you mix and match these new sets with pieces from activities throughout the game. So you look at this, and the immediate thing you notice is the Hunter is an ape.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Hunter is an ape. I love that. Shotgun aping Hunters. I love that.
I'm jealous.
The Titan is a ram. I don't know what the Warlock is supposed to be, though.
The Warlock is... Okay, so I tried to figure this out. That is the beak of some sort of bird. And then
like a griffin almost?
Yeah, and like the wings come off the side. So
I think this is really cool though. Like these are like kind of like these feel like almost like Zodiac based.
Yeah, I really like the Hunter helmet. I'm surprised the ape went to the Hunters.
I'm not. That kind of makes sense. Apes jump around a lot. That actually makes a lot of sense to me. Whereas like Titans, like they run through everything. They have the shield bash, so like you're like the front line, so the ram goes charging in.
Yeah, I feel like.
And Warlocks, it makes sense to be like some kind of winged creature.
Yeah, I guess I feel like to me it would have made more sense if the Warlock set went to the Hunter. Like you just move over one space to the right, and then the ape would go to the Titan because apes are big.
You just want the ape helmet for yourself.
I think it's cool. First of all, that is the coolest armor set out of these three.
Do you see that Hunter? That Hunter cloak has a tail, Corey.
I see it. I think it's cool.
It's a tail.
I still think the Titan got screwed again.
I think that I actually like all three sets. I do agree. Like I think the Titan set is pretty weak, but I do like that you guys get some smaller shoulders, and I actually really like the Titan helmet. I think the helmet and the legs in particular are really cool. Even the bath towel doesn't look bad.
I want to see this in a 3D space.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what the actual rendered models look like when they're in game.
Mm-hmm.
But like mixing and matching that with the current set, I think this could be really awesome.
Mm-hmm. I just want to see it. I just want to see it in a 3D.
I like the Warlock set enough that I would genuinely probably try to earn this set on my Warlock.
Yeah.
What I don't like about this is... Guys, we've talked about this before. Bungie. Right here, guys. Joe, Justin, I know you guys listen to this show each and every week. You tune in. You're a Tower Casual. I get it. Please, for the love of all that is holy, for the love of the Traveler, please stop announcing you're going to take things out of the game 4 days before the season ends. This is something you should have warned us about when we got the playlist weapons a few weeks ago. Or like 5 weeks ago, because I'm sorry, there are people who are newer to this game or who are too timid to go play in Trials, and right now, Trials is a whole bunch of tryhards on the last weekend of a season.
That's not true.
I personally have all my armor, and I do agree the armor is easier to earn than ever before. But you can't just announce that. If you're going to do this, you need to at least decide, well, hey, cool, we're going to let you turn in your Trials Ingrams to Saint for past Trials armor then. But it's only going to be given to you as universal ornaments. You can just purchase the ornament straight up from him.
God, that'd be so cool. I like
that. That is the only way I can think to do that, because now you've had 3 sets of Trials armor, and like every other kind of armor still drops in the game. Yeah. Or it's sold at Xur or something. I'm not saying you need to go steal Trials armor at Xur, although that would be a short-term solution. I'm saying let me turn in my Trials...
Why can't Saint sell it? For like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, let me turn in my Trials Ingrams. Let me decide I want to just like I want to go to like special offers or something and say, boom, I want to get this. But like the game, again, I'm armchair game developing. I'm sure this is way harder than I'm describing it. But if it registers that I have this as a universal ornament already, boom, I can't get it anymore. I've already unlocked it on my character. Like I have I have the whole second set of Trials armor and almost the entire first set. I am missing the Hunter chest piece from year 1, and it's really making me mad. Let me get that stuff again. Let me earn that stuff again. Like, that is, as you introduce more and more sets of this armor to the game, you're going to have to find a solution like that. You're just going to have to. Or let me use, if you don't want to do that, let me use my Spoils of Conquest from the raid. Let me use those and let me buy the armor straight out of the kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I'm at least doing an endgame activity. There. Be happy about it. I think it's silly that Trials, I think Trials armor should be treated the same as some of this other stuff. Oh, we're still going to buy from the kiosk, you just have to work really hard to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be fine with that. And I think most other people would be too.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. If you'd like to get out your Guardian a bit more with the Trials theme, we have 2 new cosmetic rewards. So the first is there's a ghost that's up there.
Yeah.
And I can't really make out what that is. It's got some fur on it. It's got some horns. Kind of looks like the Titan helmet in a little way.
It's a bird. It's got like
a bird of some kind. It's like a little sparrow.
Yeah, it's got like an Egyptian crown with some feathers, some wings.
Yeah. It's a falcon. That's what it is, because the sparrow is called Falcon's Chase. The Falcon's Chase sparrow. This is a pretty dope sparrow.
Dude, it's really cool.
I really like this sparrow.
Did you notice the middle is a beak?
I did. See, I feel like I need this for my hunter because I wear Celestial Nighthawk so much. Oh, yeah. I need this. Like, I've been using Gallerwing a lot. Oh, and there's like the runes on there too. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate seeing this because I know I probably will never earn this. If it's like the previous 3 sparrows and ships, I'll probably never earn them. I did finally get the ghost from this year, though. I did get that to drop a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
When I was playing, I was very excited about that one.
Nice.
Also, like, let us buy the old cosmetics. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Talking about things to sell in Eververse. Come on. At least the ghost and the sparrow or something.
Yeah. Bungie Foundation's got a Gauntlet tabletop fundraiser going on. For $25 donated, you can get an emblem there. The recipient that they're donating to is Xenomath. Xenomath's mission is to spark joy and inspire a love of math in young children and families through racial equality, family engagement, and play, all centered in the experience of communities of color. Xeno changes the landscape of early math through a unique play-based approach, and they believe that math skills and abilities are essential to leading a full and robust life. Cool. That's there. Of course, Bungie always does 1.5 million charity initiatives. Yeah. So there's that if you're interested. Release the update. Player support has rounded up the timelines and need-to-know updates. Of course, this will follow the typical schedule that it always goes on. The game will be brought offline at 10:45 a.m. Or 9:45 a.m. Pacific. Destiny 2 is brought offline. It will be brought back up 15 minutes later with update 4.1.0. Players looking to earn certain Bungie rewards should complete the associated in-game achievement before 10 a.m. Pacific time on May 24th. That includes the Guardian Games Tankard, the Guardian Games Medal, the Psionic Operator long sleeve shirt, Vow the Disciple pin, the Witch Queen Legendary campaign pin, and the Risen Seal collectible pin. I really love the shirt. I got the shirt a few weeks ago. I've worn it on this show a few times. It's super comfy. I love it. With the shipping, it is a little bit expensive, but I really love it. And I definitely, guys, we already talked about my pins. I got my pins. I had to get my pins. So, especially because I chose to pass on the raid jacket, I wanted to go ahead. I decided a $20 pin was better than spending $160 on a jacket.
Oh, you mean on like the swamp jacket? That jacket was
I mean,
so
they'll probably
ugly.
They'll probably go on. I'll probably like the legendary pin and the raid pin are both smaller, so they'll probably just like I'll probably pin them to my messenger bag or something.
Yeah.
That I carry my tablet in.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I did not like the raid jacket this time. Like
it was fine. It just made me look like I was going to be cosplaying as like an 80-year-old retiree in Florida.
That's what I'm saying. The swamp jacket.
I didn't hate it, but after the vault jacket, and after the parka from Deepstone, it was a little underwhelming. I'm saving my funds for the King's Fall jacket later this year.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Because there's absolutely no way I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I did want to give a shout out. So, of course, you got Art of the Week and Movie of the Week and stuff, and you guys can check all that out. There was a special art week that I wanted, or art thing that I wanted to shout out, that I saw tagged on Twitter the other day. and it was I don't remember what the exact hashtag was, but it was like Destiny 2 Zine or something like that. And every piece that was submitted to it was a spoof on a cover art, usually for a movie, but there was like one that did like Portal 2 as a reference.
Oh, that's cool.
And these were really cool. Some of my favorites were the Into the Spider-Verse spoof, which was titled Guardian Into the Throne World, and it was a hunter diving upside down, Miles Morales style.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was really cool. There was one that was a spoof on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign cover, Destiny Dungeon of the Mad Wizard, and it was called Dungeons and Destiny. That is an actual tabletop variant of Dungeons and Dragons 5e that has been created.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
you can play as Destiny characters with all the enemy races in it. There was a spoof on Vox Machina called Legend of the Witch Queen instead of Legend of Vox Machina. And Vex in the Shell instead of Ghost in the Shell. That's a really dope poster. Kind of looks like it's Mara Sov that is taking the place of the main character from Ghost. Exo Stranger in the Multiverse of Madness. That was really cool. It's Elsie, and it's a spoof on the Doctor Strange poster. She's like posing and like doing like he kind of does with his magic tricks, but like all the glass shards look like pyramids around her.
Yeah.
And what was the other? There was one other. Oh, there's a spoof of the poster for the movie Your Name, which was really cool. It's a pyramid and a traveler in the sky and a female warlock on one side, male titan on the other, and he's using the Guardian games shell. The towers there. It's really cool, but there were a lot of really cool variants. Go check those out. Give them some love. Some really cool stuff there.
Cool.
And then we have one final thing here, Corey. But we're going to come back to this. We're going to have 3 things in Lore Corner tonight now because they gave us a little bit of lore inside the end of the TWAB.
Ooh.
Before we do that, since we basically moved all our discussion into the TWAB with the Eververse and with the dungeon and reward systems and things like that. Let's answer some questions.
Let's do it. Question time.
Question time. Question time here.
We need a name for the question section.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that. So we have from what I saw, we had 2 questions this week.
Yeah.
We had 2 questions this week. The first one, of course, as always, comes from Andre.
No video this week, Andre.
No video this week. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah. The videos are
I didn't have to explain to my mom while I had her at the rehab center today why I was watching a video of somebody at a construction site with no Destiny stickers on his helmet. Bungie, this is week 3 of me asking you to get my boy some stickers.
Do it.
Can we find an Etsy vendor for him or something?
I'm gonna have to make some and send them myself.
Right? How did y'all meet and how did the podcast come to be? I think we've definitely talked about how we met several times. Corey and I met in a Facebook group.
It's true. The sleeper
that Corey actually put together to specifically figure out the original sleeper stimulant puzzle.
Yeah. And then
way back in the Taken King. I was a baby podcaster at the time.
You were. We were both podcasting on different podcasts at that point.
Yeah, God, that was that's going on 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. September 2015. So yeah, I was 22, 23 at the time.
Yeah. 7 years. I was 28.
I turned 30 in 2 weeks, so that should put in perspective how long Corey and I have known each other.
Yeah, and let's see. I was doing DNA stuff, so that was my first Destiny podcast.
Yeah. You guys went for 100 something episodes.
It was
ish.
It was close. I don't really remember the exact number. It wasn't quite 100, but it was pretty popular. But then the person I was doing it with didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it was a lot harder to cover Destiny 1 also.
Yeah.
I mean, we went an entire year without content drops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we ended up, I think, at some point we ended up shifting gears in that show to talk about Overwatch and The Division at some point, just because there wasn't anything to talk about in Destiny.
I mean, let's be totally honest. If we didn't have seasons,
Yeah.
and like updates coming out as quickly as they are and like ongoing stories, this show would probably not be sustainable.
Yeah. I mean, remember when we first started, we were like, yeah, when the expansion drops, we'll probably do it for like a month every week, and then maybe we'll do it every other week.
Yeah, originally when we did it, we had thought about doing it bi-weekly because the podcast just kind of came to be right after. It was the day that the Beyond Light reveal happened and Season of Arrivals came out. Corey and I had kind of lost touch for a while, and he was tweeted out. He's like, "Man, I really miss talking about Destiny. I want to talk about Destiny again." And I was just like, "Dude, hey, you just got to say the word. I want to talk about some Destiny, and none of my friends are playing this game right now. Like, they pop in like once a year, and that's about it."
Yeah.
Like I had been playing with John and them for about a year at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
and it kind of spiraled from there. We met Nerd and Colonel Panic right around that time too.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I miss talking about Destiny. I like, nobody wanted. I mean, when you look, I'm to put this in perspective. Like my Nintendo podcast is about to hit 300 episodes, and we started that around the time my last Destiny podcast was like halfway through. And then I was like, I as much as I love that show and the other shows that I do, I'm like, nobody wants to talk about Destiny the way that I want to talk about Destiny. And then Josh shows up and saves the day, and here we are approaching.
And here we're trolling sandwich accounts weeks later.
Yeah. Who follow us, by the way? Earl Sandwich.
They follow the show and they follow us, by the way.
Yes.
Despite me complaining to them about taking away my favorite sandwich ever.
I also complained to them. I'm gonna ask them when I go in November.
You should.
I'm gonna be like, hey,
I want answers.
I'm gonna be like, hey, what's the deal with the Hawaiian barbecue? Where's it at?
Don't make me call 60 Minutes. I'll do it. I will call Dateline NBC. I'll get Stone Phillips' ass out here. I'll do
God.
it. But no, it was just when we started this in 2020, we were 3 months into being locked down. I was in particular in a pretty bad spot, pretty dark spot mentally. My girlfriend is a nurse. I've detailed that a lot on the show, and that was not a great time for us.
I think
mentally.
I know it's way harder for her, but I mean, like, I think we were both kind of in that spot too, where like
a lot of us were.
I didn't, but like it was scarier for me because I worked at a job where I had to be with people.
Yeah, you were still at the car dealership.
Yeah, and I couldn't work from home, and they weren't like there was no option. I had to be with people,
and they didn't take it seriously.
Well, that's a different story altogether. But
different story. But yeah. I don't think it's an exaggeration. Like I've said it a few times. Like this show really like helped keep me grounded. When we started it, and it was something that was like helping me mentally and stuff. And then because when we first started it, there was no lore corner when we first started.
No, it
was just something I kind of did off the cuff one night, and then we were like, "Hey, this is actually pretty great. We should just keep this." And that's just like kind of how it came to be. It just kind of by the seat of our pants, So went through some learning experiences that year. But I think we came out the other side a lot better for it. And we both became way better content creators and podcasters because of.
I gotta say, like, out of all the shows that I do, this one became the most consistent and the most, we have a cadence, we have a style, and it's really influenced the other shows that I do, I think, too. So
yeah, for sure.
It's your fault.
For sure. So thank you. There you go, Andre. There's like some of our early episodes are not on the feeds, but it's all good. Our second question comes from Resident Dice Goblin at Sammy Gobo. Love the show. My question is, what do you guys think of the secrecy being shown by Bungie about next season? Does it make you more hyped or just the same? I would love to know. As always, great show. Helps me get through work every Saturday morning. For me personally, like I feel like I kind of answered this earlier. I actually really like it. I share the same feelings that Dylan expressed in the TWAB, that I would rather find things out for myself. Personally,
it builds.
I don't think everything needs to be told. like, yeah, I think it's built hype. Like, they have successfully built a hype cycle around showing nothing.
Yeah.
There are memes flying. All the developers are getting in on it. The narrative team is getting in on it. Griffin is trolling us all through the social accounts. The Gandalf beam. A trailer is never early nor is it late. It arrives precisely when it means to. And I really think they're going to going forward. I would be highly surprised if they ever give us a seasonal reveal a week or two ahead of time ever again.
Yeah.
I think they've gotten to the point where they know, like, the regulars are anticipating it so much that we're ready to go. We're ready for more content. Clearly, it's probably a pretty big story beat that's going to be shown right away. So I don't even know if I'll watch the trailer before logging in, to be honest. I may log in and watch the trailer that evening. Who am I kidding? I'm going to watch it the second it premieres.
Right.
But, Corey, what do you think? Do you think it's driving anticipation? Do you think that this is... Or, does Bungie need to show us something, anything?
I mean, I think as, like, gamers in general, we just want to know, like, what's the next thing, especially...
I think we're too impatient as a community sometimes.
Oh, yeah. No, the impatience
as a gaming community, I mean, like, you see some of the discourse going on around the Xbox Bethesda showcase is happening in about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we see the discourse around that and how it turned super toxic after the delay of Starfield and Redfall to first half 2023.
Yeah.
And just like, well, they have to show us something. We have to see something now. Like, oh, I have no faith. Like, the sky is falling. Like, guys, I play an ongoing game that's launching a season in 3 days, and I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't even know what element I'm getting changed. I can't pre-plan loadouts. I can't get exotics ready to go. Nothing. So I really hope it's solar, because all I have good rolls on for exotic armors remaining with elemental affinity is Shards of Galanor and Celestial Nighthawk. So either way, we're fully committing here to Gunslinger.
Wow. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm excited for the new season. I'm more excited for, like, what story they're going to start driving forward. Like, right. I want to see Valus Forge head the Iron Banner. I want to see what that armor looks like so bad.
I honestly can't believe that when I first saw this, I was like, oh, that's going to be cool Iron Banner armor.
That's what I thought it was at first.
Oh, that's not the Iron Banner armor. Oops.
That's what I thought it was at first. I thought it was the Iron Banner armor. I'm like, man, this is like, I like wanted something Cabal related, but it's the Trials armor, so it's okay.
It's the Trials armor. It's okay. It's awesome. There's a monkey tail on the cape. I like it. I think that the hype cycle they've done for this particular season has been pretty good, though. Like, I like knowing what my pursuit weapons are going to be ahead of time. I like that we know the Trials weapons. We've seen the Trials armor. We know what's coming to Iron Banner. We know about Iron Banner changes. We've seen a glimpse of the new PvP map. Like, going in not having anything about the dungeon or about the seasonal story or even the element, I do think 3.0 probably should have been talked about, because that's going to be a really, really long TWAB next week.
Yeah.
To break down all these abilities. And I'm like cringing a little bit, because I'm a little afraid that we're going to have a TWAB and we're going to have a separate post for 3.0 on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be something on Tuesday.
It's going to be a beverage night next week. I'm going to have to bring beverages with me.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really excited to see what happens. I think this is the perfect thing. I want to go in not knowing anything about the storyline. Like, and you have to remember, like, typically a storyline, they have an ending event at the end of the season. But I think they're going to probably shift in the model of that they did this season, have a shorter, more compact seasonal storyline, but it's like heavy every single week. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll give you like chunks of lore throughout the season after that to really elaborate and build on the events, rather than saving everything up for this end of the season event. And it's gonna overlap with Solstice. It's gonna overlap with Guardian games. Like, how weird would it be to try and go do find out that Crow accidentally murdered a Scion while you're trying to collect gold medals out there?
Right.
Like, that's not good. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Or like trying to do the exorcism while you're baking cookies. Like, there are things that do not work like this. I think that's probably what you're going to shift more towards. Like, I would say that probably guarantees an event that will end the final season to lead into the expansions. But other than that, I'm not like totally sold that we're going to get those again, because I think otherwise events kind of line up with the end of the seasons.
Yeah.
With how Guardian games are structured, with how Solstice will be, Solstice, I don't think will end. It doesn't seem like it's going to be at the end of the season. It'll be probably towards the middle, so we'll probably have something to end this season and go into season 3, and then season 3 will probably just. I don't think there'll be any ending because you'll have Festival of the Lost right there.
Right.
But I think like if you need an extra oomph, there you go. Or if it's a continuing story beat, like it made sense for us to take the final thing of Splicer and make that like the permanent override after that, because you got the Saint and Mithrax cutscene. The High Celebrant mission was left in the game, things like that. Like those are cool, but those weren't like season-ending events either.
Right.
I guess the override was there for the last 2 weeks, and then just kind of became the default one after. But there's right ways to do this and wrong ways, and I think with an ever-evolving story for the whole year, it gets really hard to do these like live events or something that lead in to build the hype. Because it's like, oh well, you missed it, so that's it, it's over.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks, because I can't tell you how many cool things that I've had friends miss out on over the years. Like the Almighty was like kind of an attempt at doing a live event like Fortnite did, and I think they realized really quickly, like, oh, people don't want to just stand in the tower for 2 hours.
Right.
The one leading into Beyond Light was cool, like when the Traveler healed. That's the example of when you need to do a live event.
Right.
Because the cutscene that followed was really cool when the map darkened and then like the Traveler pushes the darkness back from Earth.
Right.
Right as Earth is about to get swallowed. That was cool.
It was cool.
This other stuff you don't really need, like the Exorcism, how they described it in the Dice Talk that we discussed a few months ago. The Exorcism mission is their idea of a live event now, something that's up for like a week or two.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. Great. It lets everybody experience it. If there's a problem with rewards or something, they can fix it really quickly and we can all still enjoy it.
Right.
That is the approach that needs to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do something like that to build hype, cool. But I don't want one of those every season. I want those used sparingly and for big, heavy-hitting moments like the Exorcism, like the attack on the last city.
Right.
If there was a mission in the tower, like that's like the Traveler healing. That's what I want to use these for. I don't want to just be like, oh, well, we're watching something blow up in the distance. Cool. I mean, all things considered, that was kind of cool, but not for like 3 hours. We all thought it was fun because it was the first month of lockdown and we had nothing else to do on a Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
In retrospect, please don't ever do that again.
Yeah. Let's not have another worldwide pandemic to sit through either, though.
Oh my God, we're still recovering from the last one.
I side tangent on that. I saw something like, because I manage social media at my job, and one of the things trending was monkeypox. Do you want to know about monkeypox? It's the hottest new disease floating around in 2022, and the first United States case was found today in Massachusetts.
I hate everything.
So, if you're looking for a hot new disease to complain about,
to eradicate human life, there you go. Corey, let's hit these lore corners real quick. We got 3 things to get through so we can wrap the season up.
Let's do it.
Number 1, I said there was something here in the Schwab. We're going to read this. We're not really going to go into it too much, but this is the lore for the Synaptic Spear. This is a snippet of it. There was a really cool video. They made a replica of it with Has Foundry this week. It's really cool. Go check that out. But Guardian, my scions toiled to affix the ruins of Gaul's light-suppressing device to a weapon frame. A war axe would be too heavy for weak human arms. A maul lacked the resonance to pierce the psionic sphere. Finally, I held the synaptic spear in my hands, untested. I frowned. It was meant to be wielded by a light bearer in the mindscape, where their power would change it into a gleaming beacon. Even Savathun would shield her eyes from its glare, they told me. I listened to their claims before taking the weapon for myself. They raised their voices in protest, but I silenced them with a look. On the far shores of Sorrow's Harbor, I waded into the hordes of ravening hive. Though through the dull metals of this spear would not speak to me, I still made it sing. I may not have the light, but I have strength. Empress Keitel. This reinforces that I think we're getting a spear of some kind for Hunter 3.0. For Arc 3.0 for Hunters. Mm-hmm. It's just, it lines up. We already wield a spear. Just let me throw it.
Yeah.
Just let me throw it, because the Synaptic Spear is awesome. That's too cool of a mechanic to waste.
Do Hunters have anything to throw? Like, besides the knives?
No. Not a single thing.
I was just thinking.
It's wild when you think about it.
Because, like, Titans and Warlocks do.
I've thought for a long, so like I always was an advocate for Titans that get javelins.
Yeah.
Similar to the ones you use in the Zol mission.
Yeah.
And I always thought that should have been one of their things for Solar, but well, you had little hammers and then you had big hammer. So well, where else were you going to put it? They give you all the diamond lance now with the stasis aspects. This just makes sense. Like, Hunters needed probably the most love of anybody in Arc, for PvE at least. Not in PvP, but in PvE, we really needed the most help. It was really bad. And I would not be surprised, take away... I think everybody's going to lose something for Arc and Solar, because the top and bottom tree variants are pretty similar. You can differentiate those with an aspect.
Right.
Give us this to throw.
Right.
Give us this to throw. Let me have normal Arc staff, and then let me have one that is blocking. And boom, there you go. There's your 3 Arc supers for a Hunter.
Right.
But I digress. We will wait until Arc 3.0 to come to talk about that more. Let's shift back to let's go to Grand Overture. We never talked about Grand Overture this season. I'm trying to hit things that I think may be relevant here in the future. So let's keep Sorrow's Harbor in mind. Okay. Grand Overture. It's not over until the vast red artificial intelligence sings.
Ooh.
So you're the new guy. Anna Bray cracked half a smile. Can't be worse than the last Scions that Red and I dealt with. She impatiently taps her heel on her workshop bench as the Scion hurriedly checks linkages and nodes on the neural coupling device around her head. Words and images skip across Anna's mind like stones. Remain calm. Even though you are defenseless, I do not possess a starship. A sound resembling laughter follows. Funny. Anna chuckled impatiently. Okay, I've been setting this up for months. Are you done with the safety checks? Jinju flies by Anna and runs a scan over the Ingram. Be nice. A digital timepiece trains towards 0 while the Scion inundates her mind with questions. My light, splicer tech, brain tubes. Yeah, I got it, Anna says. Plug my brain into Red already and let's do this. Her voice quickens with excitement. The Scion finishes linking cables to a splicer tech receptacle housing Rasputin's Ingram and gives Anna an awkward thumb pointing up. The Scion forms an interlocking image in her mind, a tangle of wires. Slowly her perspective sifts through them and stops at a radiant center. She hears the words, forgotten vestige made remembered. That's the plan, Piston. Anna exclaims, drop me in. I can already hear the Tchaikovsky. She stares at the ticking timer. 3, 2, 1. Anna blinks. She stands in a vast thicket of thorn and rot. A warm radiates from deep within the thicket. Anna blinks. She presses through the bramble as barbs draw blood. Her sense of self wavers. She finds her grip on a searing hot spike, shifting her senses red like an adrenaline rush. Anna blinks. She kneels at the spike and rips it from the ground. A Valkyrie javelin is in her grasp. Anna blinks. The thorn vines around her recoil and wither in the heat. She feels something within the javelin, faint and weak, but alive. We gotta be heading towards a Rasputin season.
It's gotta be.
We've been saying it for a long time, but specifically mentioning the Cabal tech, the Splicer tech, and then what we just read about the Psionic Spear with Keitel. This is too much here.
Yeah. There's got to be something, right? I mean, it just...
There's got to be something. It's been 2 years. It's been over 2 years now at this point. We need it.
How is he going to come back, Josh?
I have no idea. I think Anna may stay plugged in. She may be still plugged in. Like, I don't know if we'll get it this season, but we're definitely getting it this year. Like, this is us assembling the Avengers. This is our Infinity War right now, basically.
Yeah.
We've long speculated Lightfall will be like the absolute ass kicking, and then Final Shape that's Avengers Endgame. If we're likening this to the MCU,
right? Well, they've already said that that's been a big inspiration, right? So makes sense.
So like that. Not a whole lot to really discuss here. And I kind of feel that way about this last one. These are just wrapping up some story threads that we've talked about this season and kind of prepping us for next season. We have the final Guardian Games class item to talk about. The Mark of Metal. We finally got to the Titan one. Your reputation precedes you like the rumble of a lumbering beast. Prakesh sauntered into the bar wearing Fellwinter's helm and a War Beast leather coat. See, we're definitely getting War Beast stuff for Iron Banner.
You think?
He wanted these Guardians to know that he meant business. Tolnik, his gigantic bodyguard, eyed the crowd warily. They approached a fire team of hulking titans whose seats were crammed next to the bar top, obviously blocking the way to the bathroom. Their hands clenched into meaty fists as the pair neared. At ease, Guardians. Prakish raised his hands in mock surrender. Next round's on me. The Titans relaxed, their chairs creaking audibly beneath them. Good to see you, the Sentinel rumbled. Figured you was mad because we called our bets off. Nothing personal, he shrugged. Of course not, Prakish replied as he squeezed into an empty seat between them. Tolnik leaned against the wall, arms folded across his chest. But it does make me wonder, the bookie continued, where you're taking your action. We got great odds from this really big guy, the Sunbreaker said. Had a deep voice and a weird helmet. Oh yeah? Prakish said with feigned disinterest. Lots of people have weird helmets. Yeah, but this guy's the only one I ever met with 4 arms and no legs, the Sentinel said. His ghost must be a real joker. He had 4 arms? You're telling me this guy's a Lixney? Prakish shot Tolnik a frown. I ain't licking nothing, the Sentinel scowled. Prakish rolled his eyes. He was fallen. This was the Batsa district, right? The moment stretched on as the Titan struggled to catch up with the obvious. Oh, damn, Maurice, the Sentinel finally exclaimed as the light went on for her. That explains the weird porcupine dudes. The Sentinel shook his head. I would have never guessed they were aliens. What great disguises. Prakish pinched the bridge of his nose. Next time you place a bet, maybe try someone with a normal amount of arms, okay? The Sunbreaker nodded. I hear you, Kesh. Forewarned is forearmed, right? These are the stereotypical Titans, and I love it. But it also confirms Spider is coming back in a big, big way. He is in the city now.
Yeah.
Spider has made his way to the city. So I'm not entirely convinced that we will not have another mission inside the Elixni Quarter at some point.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Let me ask you a question here, Corey. Do you think that we are going to get Spider as the boss of the dungeon this season?
God.
Or do you think they're going to hold that for season 19? Because it feels like Spider's going to have to be dealt with.
I think if you're going to bring him back now, he's got to cause a little bit of a ruckus before you make him a dungeon boss.
I feel like it has to be like the enemy of my enemy is my friend scenario.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of
you'll work with him for now, but like, once the preparations for if the city has to be evacuated, once that all happens, all bets are off. He's dead.
Yeah.
Because he's going to double cross you the first chance he gets.
Yeah.
And I feel like Mithrax knows that.
This feels like we're going to make a deal with you type situation, right? Like I feel like.
You think that he could be linked to Aramis possibly coming back?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. Gosh, now you got me thinking about this.
Because I feel like the Elixni are pretty clearly in 2 factions. There's Aramis's faction, obviously, and then there's the House of Light. And I feel like most Elixni have crossed over to the House of Light at this point.
Yeah.
But I feel Spider probably is feeling pretty slighted by us right now.
Yeah.
We know he hates us and Crow.
Right.
And that feels like if the seasons are ultimately telling Crow's story,
right,
then that would be the next logical step. We know we're due for an update with Mithrax. We just had the Cabal season. It would make sense to advance Mithrax's story next, but I'd really like to have some Rasputin sprinkled in there. Like, I think all 3 of these kind of paint a picture of where we're probably going in the next season. Right. Like, Spider's back, but we can't kill him. I have a feeling that somebody like Drifter is going to be like, whoa, let's not kill each other. We haven't had him in the seasonal narrative in a couple years either. You know, hey, I need your help with something, and, he hired me.
Right.
You know, we always forget that, Spider hired Drifter to get somebody to go clean out the Prison of Elders in that strike.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of moving pieces, and we know, like, from the Collector's Edition lore that they're still very interested in Varix. Varix still has a part to play in this story.
Yeah.
Europa still has a part to play in this story. Like, everything's coming in. That's why I'm okay with not knowing anything going into this season.
Yeah, I mean, we still haven't really explored the Deepstone Crypt either. You know? So, I don't know. There's a lot of questions brewing in a lot of places that we seemingly have explored, but really haven't. Because we've talked about that before, too, where the Deepstone Crypt is, the raid does not take place in the Deepstone Crypt, even though it's called Deepstone Crypt. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would probably, I mean, we talk all arms, no legs. That would be a pretty reasonable place, I think, for us to take down Spider eventually.
Well,
would be at the Tombstone Crypt.
You think Spider wants to know what's down there?
Oh, 100%. This is a guy who brokers in technology and in services. He absolutely wants to be down there.
I'm just wondering if, like, there's something down in the deep, like you explore the Deepstone Crypt and maybe that's where you fight Spider at some point. Maybe he's got Braytech legs now.
I would love to see him get the Exo legs.
Yeah.
Be what Tanix was trying to become, essentially.
Yeah, and then like he'll have 4 arms, but then he'll have 4 legs too. Then he'll be really a spider.
That would be wild, and I would be totally here for it.
Yeah.
That would be one of the most terrifying bosses I think we've ever fight.
That'd be cool, though. Be cool. Give it to me.
It would be cool, but I will not give it to you. I think that's going to do it, though, on Season of the Risen.
Yeah, man.
I think that's going to do it. I mean, I know we normally try to have a discussion about the season towards the end, but we've gone really long this episode. It was a beefy schwab that I was not expecting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like in a couple weeks we'll have that discussion.
I feel like we've kind of gotten our thoughts out there though at this point. We've gotten a lot better about structuring them like as things happen and since the storyline ended so early, we were able to like do that months ago.
Right.
I'm curious to see what happens. I do like that the dungeon's not launching on Tuesday morning, though.
Yeah.
So I don't have to immediately rush into it. The power level is 1550, so it's still going to be a challenge no matter what.
Right.
I look forward to this dungeon, though. I'm very excited. Master Vox Obscura has really made me leery of Master difficulties for a while.
Yeah.
Not really jazzed about it. I suspect the Master version will be 1600 light.
Yeah.
Since currently, I think Grasp of Avarice is 15.
I think it's 1590.
1580. Okay, so 1590 will probably be what the Master is.
Yeah.
I just don't give me like 30 champions in it. That's my only request. Definitely go get some of those seasonal weapons. Upgrade your war table if you haven't already, because man, I cannot underscore how great it is to be able to craft those weapons. I think I've got one final red bar I have to get, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
I've got to buy one more sniper rifle. I want one more sniper and one more machine gun. So when I buy my one for this week, I'll have one more, which I'll do at the beginning of next week, and I'll be done forever with those stupid red borders that don't like to drop for me.
Yeah.
Excited to see the new seasonal loot. We haven't seen anything on the seasonal weapons yet.
Yeah.
That'll probably be a suite of 6 to 8 weapons. Pretty excited there. Excited to see what else gets brought into the crafting pool. I want to see that expanded. You know, even if it's just adding like the rest of the foundry weapons, that's still a win.
Right.
You would have to suspect the dungeon weapons will be part of it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the seasonal armor and the seasonal ornaments. I'm excited to see the dungeon stuff. I'm excited to see all of it.
The dungeon not dropping until Friday makes me think that they really want you to hit that story content first.
Yeah.
That they want to tie it into the story, because we've talked about it too. Like the dungeons for a long time have just like kind of been side stories. Mm-hmm. They've never really mattered in the scheme of things.
Right.
And I want them to start mattering.
Right.
Well, you know, kind of like we saw them take the step with Vow of the Disciple this year, right?
Right.
That actually mattered to the storyline, and they've been kind of like hit and miss. Like Deepstone Crypt really was an epilogue in a lot of ways to Beyond Light, because you dealt with Atrax, who was the final lieutenant.
Yeah. And
Tanix, who was, I don't know,
Tanix,
Aramis's lover, essentially, which we know from the cutscenes and whatnot. But I don't really know what else. Like the dungeons and the endgame stuff really need to start having a relevance within the game ultimately.
Right. Well, I think the only dungeon, the last Pit of Heresy, I guess, had a little bit to do with Shadowkeep.
Pit of Heresy was ultimately like a side story, and like you kind of had to dig for that lore for it to matter. Yeah. Shattered Throne did like Duel Ankaru does matter to the cycle, I guess, but I mean Prophecy really like on the surface doesn't really have any sort of like impact.
Mm-mm.
And I mean Grasp of Avarice, LOL.
Lol.
That was just meant to be like a meme dungeon, essentially. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. I want to see the dungeon armor, the loot. Like, we're about to be inundated with so much stuff.
Yeah, we are.
So let's get ready to grind on Tuesday.
Let's do it.
Back to it.
Get up on it, as they say.
I will be on right at reset that day, and I will get all my stuff done early in the day. I plan on playing nothing but Destiny.
Nice. Well, Josh,
Corey,
what do you say we
get us
get
out of here?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of Tower Casuals. If you listen on iTunes or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you want to head on over to our YouTube channel and just give us that quick subscribe. I know I'm a little behind on the lore videos, but they're up. They're getting up there. They're getting up there. Yeah. Follow us at Tower Casuals on Twitter and Instagram. And you can email the show at towercasuals@gmail.com or tweet at us like our friends did today. Andre, I expect a video next week. No video. Josh, I appreciate
sticker update.
Josh, I appreciate your time tonight. Where can we find you?
Twitter at Just_Finn 2 N's. Watch my existential crisis unfold as I watch the Mavs collapse in another postseason series.
Gosh, two days ago you were like, yeah, and then like what, yesterday or
and then we got
something,
absolutely shit stomped by the Warriors on Wednesday night.
Yeah, you're like, ah. So
like, God, this sucks. Like I was playing Fortnite with our friend Ray last night. I was just like, ugh, like every single time that something happened, he was like, what's going on over there? We're winning. I was like, no, you don't understand. I've got basketball on my other screen. This is terrible. I hate this. Like, I've got the game piped through one side. I've got my earbuds in on one side. I've got my headset on. I'm like, this is terrible. I hate this. Corey, we get Obi-Wan Kenobi next week, too.
I know. I'm so excited for that show.
Ready. That, Jedi Fallen Order 2, it's happening. It's going to be great. Star Wars Celebration is next weekend. Get us out of here. Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting a plethora of other podcasts on the internet. Yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen to this show. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.